Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Go Bills podcast presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. I am your host and founder of the page, Brett McDurphy. Glad to be with you on this magnificent Monday evening. It is a wonderful day to talk about Buffalo Bills football, and it's Overreaction Monday, my favorite day of the week to talk about football. And boy, do we have a lot to discuss today, especially with the Buffalo Bills. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, as well as Threads. Also, don't forget that we are on our website, GoBillsPodcast.com. Click on over to the website, and you can find all of our upcoming shows that we will have throughout the week, along with collaborations with guys like the Nickel City Mafia and Red, White, and Bills. But today we are going to discuss the game between the New York Giants and Buffalo Bills. And boy, was this a disappointing result for the Buffalo Bills as far as their offensive productivity. And I want to get into this a little bit and just talk about what the Bills have done over the past couple of weeks. It's been a few weeks of watching and seeing the Bills play out there, and it just seems like the offense is struggling mightily as far as how to be consistent out there on the field the last 2 weeks. Maybe it's something that has to do with the game against the Miami Dolphins where everything was going right and they put up a ton of points, and maybe they got a little bit of a in their head where, hey, we can go down the field and score every single drive. That very well could be it. But what I'm seeing quite a bit from the Buffalo Bills, and this is a segment and this is a show today that we're going to be brutally honest. We're going to have some tough discussions. Let me get into that for viewer discretions. I want to say that this is going to be a tough conversation that we're going to have today. Just understand that this is the 24-hour rule that we have with the Buffalo Bills, where we have to be tough on our franchise because we're passionate fans. We want to see what's best for our team, and we want to make the right adjustments so that we're good in December and January. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about today. So let's get into the offense of the Buffalo Bills. And it starts with JA-17. And the past couple of weeks, it seems like he's not going through his progressions fast enough. And if you watch the first half of the Bills game yesterday, and it just seemed like Josh Allen was trying to go with Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis quite often, and he wasn't seeing the checkdowns in Dawson Knox, as well as being able to check to a different play and run the ball as well. Those are a couple of things that I looked at during the game, and I said, hey, this is areas that the Bills can correct easily. There's tons of chances where the Bills could have ran the ball and checked an audible to a run play where it would have worked out. If you look at the defense of the New York Giants, they're giving up an astonishing amount of missed tackles in the NFL. And I look back to last week for the Miami Dolphins going up against the New York Giants. And last week with the New York Giants, they could not stop the run of Devon Achane as well as Raheem Mostert for the Miami Dolphins. And then it really came down to the Dolphins just playing the outside perimeters, and that's areas where the Bills have strengths in. You look at Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, that's the areas that you can exploit right there. But it seems like the Bills kind of had everything flipped around where you have to, on a team like the Giants, you got to set up the run, establish the pass, but set up the run and really make them have to decide whether they're going to put 8 men in the box or they're going to play the perimeter. And if they're playing the perimeter, then you have to go and run the ball. And that means that there's not going to be 8 men in the box. But in the passing situations that I saw where Josh Allen was struggling and not able to, having to run for his life, and he wasn't able to stay in the pocket, it's because the Wink Martindale defense was bringing so much pressure where you have 7, 8 guys that are coming after Josh Allen. And this is a situation where they're bringing so many guys in pressure, but there's only so many guys that can block. And you saw what was happening towards the second half of the game where the Bills were having to rely on guys like James Cook as well as Dawson Knox to come in as blockers, and even David Edwards as an extra blocker as well. That's the situation where I want to see the Bills make those corrections. Don't forget, if you're watching on the channel and you're in the channel, don't forget to drop your comments as well. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. The comments always help, and they're always meaningful. They also let me know that you guys can hear me loud and clear. I'm sounding good as well, so I would greatly appreciate it if you guys can just let me know how I sound as well, if I'm sounding good, if there's any issues with the sound quality or anything like that. We're trying to get those corrected. We do believe we have them corrected this week. Seems like the Yeti microphone was not working properly, but we think we got it under control and got the sound up and running pretty good today. So it seems like it's a lot better. Tested it on StreamYard as well as on our computers as well. So it seems like it's working a lot better as well. But let's get into the offense as well and talk about how Josh Allen can get the ball rolling. And Josh has a lot of weapons out there on this offense. You got guys like the main guy in Stephon Diggs. You have Gabe Davis as well. Dalton Kincaid, who was inactive this week with the concussion, but you also have him and Dawson Knox, as well as Deontay Hardy and Khalil Shakir. It's kind of like the metaphor of hungry, hungry hippo, where you have a lot of guys that you have to feed their mouths, but the Bills need to rely on being able to spread the ball around and get it to a lot of playmakers. And sometimes there's going to be situations where Stephon Diggs is going to be double covered, and you're going to have to rely on the next man up that can step up and be able to lead this offense. And I don't know if it's tentativeness for Josh Allen or what the right word would be for why the Bills are, in my opinion, afraid to be able to get the ball to other playmakers and rely on those other playmakers to lead the team in receptions as well as yards during the game. But to me, you need to have the next man up, ready to go and step up. And there's going to be games where Stephon Diggs is not going to have 100 yards in a game. And that's difficult to do. It's hard to get 100 yards every single week. But so far throughout the 6 games, he's averaging over 100 yards at 103 yards a game, which is an incredible stat that he has right now. But it's going to be hard to continue to do because defenses are going to have to figure out how to stop their number one weapon. And I think it's going to come down to next week against the New England Patriots. Excuse me, guys, for that second. But it's going to come down to the New England Patriots and what does Bill Belichick do best? Bill Belichick does a really good job of being able to stop the number one threat for the offense of the opposing team. And this is the game where I'm looking ahead to the New England Patriots going, you know that they're going to stop Stephon Diggs, and then they're going to put the ball in Josh Allen's hands, being able to go with his different options. And this is a game where the Bills are going to have to rely on the next man up mentality like we talk about for the offense. And I need to see that next man up step up. And we haven't seen it quite a bit this season. So I need to see Josh Allen and the rest of the offense really step up this week and get the ball to different playmakers, spread the ball around quite a bit this week because you have the Patriots coming in who are going to double team Stephon Diggs. And whether that's Dalton Kincaid or Dawson Knox or even Gabe Davis, somebody has to step up. And I'm not trying to call out any players whatsoever. That's not what I'm trying to do on this segment. But we need to see that next man up go in and make an impact out there on the field. Now, do I put the blame of being able to spread the ball on Ken Dorsey, or do I put it on Josh Allen? I put a lot of the blame on Josh Allen because it seems like he's not going through his progressions fast enough. He's looking at one receiver, and he's also relying on that guy to get open. But in the NFL, you got to go through your progressions and go through your first read and then go to your second read, your third read, sometimes even your fourth read. But I need to see that from the Buffalo Bills this week being able to go with your different reads, find the person that's open and rely on them this week. I think that the Bills offense can be able to do this week, and they're going to be able to figure out how to do that. But it takes, like I said, the next man up mentality, and it takes everybody coming together and finding out how to be the next man up and how to step up and putting in your best effort all week. Let's talk about the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills as well. And I got to tell you guys, I am extremely happy with this offensive line of the Buffalo Bills and how they've stepped up over the last 6 weeks of the season. And they've done a phenomenal job of being able to get the ball and be able to get the ball and battle in the trenches, which is a great sign. I absolutely love what I've seen out of Connor McGovern as well as Osiris Torrance in the middle of the field. Really great things that they've done in opening up holes for James Cook as well. I think that they're by far the best tandem in the NFL as far as guards go right now. They're not giving up any sacks right now, which is a great stat as well. Only 2 sacks given up for the Bills offensive line if you look at PFF stats. And they're doing, like I said, a phenomenal job. They gave up those 2 sacks against the New York Jets, and they're doing a good job of being able to keep Josh in the pocket. Yes, there's situations where Josh has to roll out, but those are situations where everybody is blocked, and you have 6-7 guys coming in, and they're bringing pressure on Josh Allen, which is why you're seeing Josh kind of struggle, is because he has so much pressure coming in his face, and he needs to figure out just to get the ball to the quick reads. And when you do that, that's going to help him a lot. Getting the ball out quickly always stops a good pass rush for the NFL. Excuse me, guys, for 1 second. This Bills offense is very good in the NFL. They're doing a really good job of being able to mix the plays around. I really love what I've seen out of Ken Dorsey and the play calling that he's done. The execution needs to be a little better. And I think when they do get that execution a little better, they're going to take it to the next step and really step up. And you're going to see games where the Bills offense is going to put up 30 to 40, 50, maybe even 70 points in the game. But they need to step up, and they need to do a better job of not shooting themselves in the foot and getting fumbles and interceptions and stuff like that. They got to be able to go down the field, get drives going, and it starts with Josh Allen. It starts with the offense stepping up and getting the ball moved around to your playmakers and setting up the run so that James Cook can have a long run for a touchdown. And that's what I want to see from the Buffalo Bills this week against the New England Patriots and moving forward throughout the season. This is a week where the Bills can really find a way to get in rhythm and make an impact out there and embarrass the New England Patriots as well. But let's get into the other side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills as far as the defense goes. And I got to tell you guys, I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but this defense of the Buffalo Bills is phenomenal. I absolutely love what they're doing out there on the field, making a big impact out there. Guys like Taron Johnson, who had 15 tackles in the game, as well as Terrell Bernard doing great things as well. And boy, how great is it to see Leonard Floyd out there for the Buffalo Bills, 6.5 sacks on the year, as well as our guy in AJ Epinesa as well, who has 4 sacks on the year, making a big impact out there as well and doing a phenomenal job of generating pressure on the quarterback. Can't believe we're seeing such a great defense of the Buffalo Bills. Already on the year through 6 games, 23 sacks on the year. Incredible number. Actually, 24 sacks on the year. 3 sacks yesterday, one of them going to the team, one going to Leonard Floyd, the other one going to AJ Epinesa. who continue to pick up on their sack total for the year. But this might be the first season in quite a while where we see multiple guys with 10 plus sacks on the year. And the first one that's going to do it, Leonard Floyd. Boy, would that be great to see. And then you bring into the mix Von Miller, who was he was out there on the field making an impact, generating pressure on the field, but he wasn't on the stat boards as well. But you look at what Von Miller did out there on the field, he generated a lot of pressure, putting a lot of impact on Tyrod Taylor while he didn't get home to the quarterback. He did make a big impact out there on the field, like I said. And he wasn't on the stat sheet for the game, but he did a great job of generating pressure and really forcing Tyrod Taylor to escape out to his right because he was covering the left side of the field as well. Now, other guys that made a real big impact on the field, I think the whole entire defensive line did a phenomenal job out there. Poona Ford as well, who only had one tackle in the game, but he was covering the middle of the defensive line very well. And I apologize for the notifications that you're going to get in the next couple of seconds. We have a show that's about to go out on another channel, so you're going to hear a bunch of notifications. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to turn that off just so that you don't have to hear those sounds throughout the whole entire show. But we do have it off. But like I said, the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills, phenomenal job out there on the field. I think that everybody really stepped up, and they did a good job of containing Tyrod Taylor, and they didn't allow him or Saquon Barkley to really take a big play to the house. And that's one area that I absolutely loved from the defensive line, was being able to contain Saquon Barkley as well as Tyrod Taylor in this game. And that's a hard ask for you to do because you have a mobile quarterback in Tyrod Taylor and you have a Pro Bowl running back in Saquon Barkley, and being able to stop both of them is going to be a tough task. Now, I thought like in this game, Tyrod Taylor was trying to be more of the quarterback that stays in the pocket a little bit too much. He didn't rely on his legs enough, and I felt like he should have relied on his legs quite a bit more in this game. That's just me being honest from what I saw in this game. But I absolutely loved what I saw from the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills. As far as the linebackers go for the Buffalo Bills as well, phenomenal job by Terrell Bernard, 12 tackles in the game. Only problem that I didn't like in the game was that pass interference that he had, where Mike Fortin from Nickel City Mafia said it best. I mean, he should have been arrested and handcuffed right there on the field. That was clear pass interference to me, but overall, that's a situation where you have to have pass interference because you don't want to give up a touchdown on that play. But both linebackers for the Buffalo Bills, phenomenal job, and Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams really stepping up in place of Matt Milano as well. And I absolutely loved what I saw from both of the guys. And I think this is the game where, just like Chris Collingsworth on NBC said, I think that this is an area where you're seeing the Bills defense is going to get better and better as the season goes on. And they're going to get familiar with each other. They're going to be able to read what they're doing out there more and more. And they're going to rely on their instincts quite a bit more. And that's a situation where I absolutely love. And while you don't wish for injuries to happen in the NFL, don't get me wrong, it's great to see that the Bills are gelling and coming together on defense. And Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer stepping up as well. Even Christian Benford having a big game as well. The whole entire defense really kept the Bills in this game. And without them, they would have lost this game. They really stepped up. They showed up. And this defense is legit in this league. I'm going to tell you that right now. Offense just needs to figure things out and get back to the normal way that they run and get 28, 29 points on the board, whatever the case may be. But we need to get a lot of points on the board as well. Let's get into injury news for the Buffalo Bills, and let's start with the biggest injury that we saw yesterday, which was Damian Harris being taken off the field by ambulance. And I want to get into that specifically because it was in a very scary situation, especially with Damar Hamlin being in the building. And you could see the emotion that was going through his head as well. He was almost sobbing on the sidelines. And you saw Damian Harris be taken to the hospital as a precaution mostly. He has been released from the hospital, which is great news to see. He is dealing with a neck sprain, does have full movement in all of his extremities, which is great to see, and he will be fine. Sean McDermott did update the media today on that. That was the major injury news for the Buffalo Bills. Everybody else squeaked out okay, except for Josh Allen, which was the other major injury for the Buffalo Bills. He did have an MRI today for his shoulder, did reveal an issue with his AC joint, but everything is going to look good. He's going to play next week, which is a great sign, and he will not be out as well. It's just going to be a little sore out there on the field, but he is fine. He will be playing this week. He probably will be limited in practice, so don't be surprised when you see that as well. But let's get into a couple of other things that we have to discuss on the channel, which is the grades for the Bills. And I want to get into the grades for the Bills because I didn't do it yesterday. And I want to get into the offensive grades. And I'm going to start with the entire offense of the Buffalo Bills. And I think it really comes down to what they did out there on the field. And I'm going to be pretty critical of what I saw on the field from the Bills. I'm going to give them a C- for the offense as far as their grade. I felt like there was a lot of plays that they could have had back and they could have made a bigger lead in this game. They really let down in this game, and they need to step up this week against the New England Patriots and put a lot of points on the board, in my opinion. As far as the defense, I felt like they played at a B range, B+, I'm going to give them, which is incredible level of where they belong. But there was a lot of penalties out there and stupid decisions that we saw, like the Ed Oliver play where he headbutted a player. You know better than that. You got to just step up and not do that, and not take what the other team is doing and trying to get in your head, and just do it out there on the field. Don't do it with your helmet or anything like that. As well as a couple of penalties from the guys like Terrell Bernard that really needed to not happen out there as well. And those are plays where I didn't like, as well as the one from Kyer Elam where he had another penalty as well. But these are plays where you got to just make better decisions, and you got to eliminate the penalties and not allow the opposing team to make an impact out there on the field. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also find us on our website, GoBillsPodcast.com. Click on over to the website where you can find all of our upcoming shows throughout the week. You can find that directly on our homepage where it'll say the 2023 podcast schedule. If you have any questions about that, don't forget to DM me on Instagram. We'd love to have you watch the shows, as well as if you want to get into our Instagram channel, our broadcast channel that we have, we would love to have you on there as well. This has been Brett from the Go Bills Podcast. We will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills Podcast. Until then, Go Bills.